Let's do it. Today's DAF is DAF Chavtes. Now, I want to review what we learned yesterday. Rav Acha bar Yaakov had tried to explain the authorship of our Mishnah. Our Mishnah basically says that chametz she'avar alav haPesach, chametz that has been in existence over Pesach, is aser after Pesach, but only if it was owned by a Jew. But if it was owned by a non-Jew, then it's mutter bahana'a, and that's fine. Now, the question is, who's the author of our Mishnah? We had presented a brisa yesterday with three different authors, and the Gemara had said, this Mishnah doesn't seem to fit into any one of the three. Rabbi Yehuda says that all chametz she'avar alav haPesach is aser, and he does not distinguish whether it's owned by a Jew or a non-Jew. Rabbi Shimon says that all chametz she'avar alav haPesach is mutter.
Wow.
And Rabbi Yossi Haglili goes even further to be mekel, and he says that even on Pesach itself, you're allowed to get hana'ah from chametz. So, who was the author? It's not Rabbi Yehuda and it's not Rabbi Shimon, it's somewhere in between. So Rav Acha bar Yaakov suggested yesterday that the author of our Mishnah is Rabbi Yehuda, and in reality, Rabbi Yehuda only prohibits the chametz that was owned by a Jew. Now, why is that? It's because he equates the prohibition of chametz after Pesach to the isser of bal yera'eh. Lo yera'eh lecha chametz. The Torah says there's an isser that you cannot have chametz in your possession, or it shall not be seen by you. And what that means is that lecha means that it's only if it's owned by a Jew, but not if it's owned by a non-Jew.
Is we all one? Is that what the concept
Lecha means, yes, you collectively, you the Jewish people, correct. So therefore, if it's owned by a Jew, Rabbi Yehuda prohibits chametz even after Pesach, and if it's owned by a non-Jew, then not only does Rabbi Yehuda permit it for hana'ah, but he even permits it ba'achila after Pesach. You can even eat it after Pesach. And similarly, if it's owned by a Gentile over Pesach, you're allowed to get hana'ah from it. Rabbi Yehuda is completely permissive when it comes to the chametz of a non-Jew, based upon his fashioning of the prohibition of chametz after Pesach, based on the isser of bal yira'eh, of the chametz having to belong to you. That's where we left it yesterday. And now the Gemara is going to offer a different opinion, which is the opinion of Rava. Rava, which is now, we're on, it's about 15 to 20 lines down. Rava Amar. Rava says, La'olam Rabbi Shimoni. Really, our Mishnah is not like Rabbi Yehuda, but rather the authorship is Rabbi Shimon. Now remember, what did Rabbi Shimon say? That there is no isser of chametz she'avar alav haPesach, of chametz after Pesach, even if the chametz was in existence on Pesach. There is no prohibition whatsoever of that chametz after Pesach. So how can you tell me that our Mishnah is like Rabbi Shimon? He says, "V'Reb Shimon kinasa kanis hoel va'avar aleha b'bal yira'eh u'bal yimatzeh." Rabbi Shimon holds that there is a rabbinic penalty that is imposed on any Jew who had chametz in his possession over Pesach. Because he was in violation of the mitzvah lo saseh, of bal yira'eh, bal yimatzeh, we penalize him further and tell him that you may not benefit from that chametz after Pesach. It's not a deoraisa law, and therefore it's a kanas, it's a rabbinic penalty, and that's why Rabbi Shimon is consistent. In the brisa, he was referring to the biblical prohibition. There is no biblical prohibition of chametz she'avar alav haPesach, and our Mishnah is addressing the rabbinic penalty that Rabbi Shimon agrees to. And it's only for a Jew's chametz because the penalty addresses the violation of bal yira'eh, bal yimatzeh. If it was a goy's chametz, where there's clearly no violation of bal yira'eh, bal yimatzeh, there's no reason to prohibit the chametz after Pesach. So now the Gemara says, okay, fine. Bishlam l'Rava, hainu dikatani shel Yisrael aser, mishum shenamar lo yera'eh. Now let's go to the last line of our Mishnah that we learned yesterday. We had mentioned at the time that the last line of our Mishnah is somewhat cryptic. On DAF Chav Ches Amud Aleph it had said that the chametz of a Yisrael after Pesach is aser bahana. Why? Shenemar, because the pasuk says lo yera'eh lecha so'or, that so'or shall not be seen by you. Now that pasuk is clearly not referring to after Pesach. So what is the association between the pasuk and the halacha that a Jew's chametz is aser after Pesach? So according to Rava, it makes very good sense. If the penalty of chametz she'avar alav haPesach is instituted because a person violated Bal Yera'eh, then the Mishnah now makes sense. The Mishnah is citing a pasuk which is the basis for the rabbinic penalty. Because you violated Bal Yera'eh on Pesach, therefore we don't allow you to get benefit from that chametz after Pesach. But Elul Rav Acha bar Yaakov mishum lo ye'achel chametz mi boile. But if you recall, Rav Acha bar Yaakov is going according to Rabbi Yehuda. We saw Rabbi Yehuda in the Brisa say that there are 3 times when the Torah says that chametz may not be eaten on Pesach. And he said one is coming to tell you that on Erev Pesach, another is coming to tell you on Pesach itself, and another one, the third one, is coming to tell you that even after Pesach, chametz is aser. So, according to Rabbi Yehuda, if the prohibition of chametz she'avar lav haPesach is a Torah prohibition, that a Jew's chametz is aser after Pesach, it should be in the realm of thou shalt not eat chametz, not lo yera'eh. So how do you reconcile the pasuk of the Mishnah with the way that with Rabbi Yehuda? It seems that Rav Acha bar Yaakov is mistaken. The Gemara answers, Misavris aseifa koi areisha koi. So the Gemara says, no, you're making a mistake. This citation of a pasuk in our Mishnah is not addressing the Seifa, which talks about the prohibition of a Jew's chametz after Pesach. It's going on the Reisha, which talks about the permissibility of a non-Jew's chametz after Pesach. And the way you read it is as follows: V'hachi ka'amar, chametz shal nachri sha'avar lav haPesach muter ba'ana. That a Gentile's chametz is permitted for hana'ah if it's chametz sha'avar lav haPesach. And what's the reason? Mishum shenamra lo yera'eh lecha shalcha yataroah v'lataroah shel acherim v'shel gavoah. That the reason is because the isser of bal yera'eh and bal yimatzeh only on Pesach only applies to a Jew's chametz, but not to a non-Jew's chametz, and not to hektish chametz. Okay, fine. So, and therefore, v'yalif so'or da'achila mis'or de're'iyah. And therefore, once we have that, once we know that there's an isser of bal yera'eh, we fashion the isser of achilas chametz after Pesach, after the paradigm of the isser of bal yera'eh. The paradigm of bal yera'eh is only if it's your chametz, not if it's someone else's chametz. Similarly, the isser of chametz shavar lav haPesach, which is fashioned after that paradigm, is only when it's your chametz and not when it's someone else's chametz. So, granted, according to Rabbi Yehuda, there isn't the basis of chametz shavar lav haPesach is a pasuk of lo chametz lo ye'achel. Chametz may not be eaten. But the way that it's fashioned, the format of that prohibition is formatted after the isser of bal yera'eh, which means only your chametz and not a non-Jew's chametz.
So it says, so gavoah chametz doesn't have to be sold.
Chametz gavoah, if it's hektish chametz,
doesn't have to be sold.
Does not have to be sold because it doesn't belong to. So it belongs to Hashem.
In the time of the temple, they weren't selling their chametz in the base of
That's right. Wow. Exactly right. Now, this is very important what you're raising because we're going to see further application of this.
But the shul does.
Well, the question is, right, that's a good point. Does a shul have to sell its chametz?
But it's hektish.
Temple didn't.
It's not hektish. The shul's not
okay,
hektish.
So you're right. So that's why technically it's really not hektish. We say that the mammon of a Beis HaKnesses is mammon hektish, but we use that term figuratively. We don't mean it from a halachic point of view. Right. What?
You're not doing korbanot anymore?
No, I cleaned up the blood. They go according to their reasoning. Now, Rava and Ravacha have a similar debate in as follows. If a person eats the chametz that was owned by a Gentile over Pesach, and he eats this after Pesach, L'divrei Rabbi Yehuda. According to Rabbi Yehuda, what's the halacha? This was the question that was posed in the Beis Medrash, and now we have two opinions. Rava Amar Lokev, Rav Acha bar Yaakov Amar Eino Lokev. Rava says, according to Rabbi Yehuda, who holds that the Isser of Achilas Chametz applies even after Pesach, you'd get malchus for it. And according to Rav Acha, you would not. You're not penalized at all. Rava Amar Lokev, Lo Yolef Rabbi Yehuda, Sor De'achila Misor De're'iyah. Rav Acha bar Yaakov Amar Eino Lokev, Yolef Sor De'achila Misor De're'iyah. And the machlokus, of course, is as follows. Rava says that I look at the Brisa, which cites Rabbi Yehuda. He makes no distinction between whether it's a Jew's chametz, whether it's a non-Jew's chametz. And therefore, any chametz that was in existence over Pesach, if you eat it after Pesach, according to Rabbi Yehuda, you get malchus. But Rabbi Shimon, but Rav Acha, who understands Rabbi Yehuda differently, he says Rabbi Yehuda fashions the Isser of Chametz Shavar Lav HaPesach after the prohibition of Bal Yera'eh, which only applies to your chametz and not applies to a non-Jew's chametz, he says that the whole isser of achilas chametz after Pesach, according to Rabbi Yehuda, is only a Jew's chametz, and therefore you don't get malchus if you eat the Gentiles' chametz.
So we hold it today like Rav Acha, obviously.
No, we don't. We hold like Reb Shimon.
Obviously.
Rav Acha and Rava are both arguing in Rabbi Yehuda, and we don't hold like Rabbi Yehuda. We hold like Reb Shimon that chametz shavar lav Pesach is a knas. It's a rabbinic prohibition, but it's not a biblical prohibition.
But we don't get the knas.
What are you talking about?
But but if you're selling it.
But, yeah, but what if a Jew owned chametz over Pesach? If a store was owned by a Jew, that chametz is prohibited. It's a rabbinic prohibition, like the way Rava explained Reb Shimon. So the answer is yes, we hold like Rava, but Rava explaining that our mission is like Reb Shimon. Okay? So, and this has ramifications, by the way, but we're going to get to that in a minute. V'hadar be Rav Acha bar Yaakov mehahi. Furthermore, says the Gemara, that Rav Acha bar Yaakov himself eventually retracted his position to suggest that our Mishnah goes like Rabbi Yehuda, and that Rabbi Yehuda has this distinction between a Jew's chametz and a non-Jew's chametz regarding the isser of chametz she'avar lav haPesach. The Tanya, as the Brisa says, and we're going to go into a lengthy proof to demonstrate that Rav Acha bar Yaakov retracted. So it's going to take us a while. So just hold on. Just be patient. The Brisa now says, "Ha'ochel chametz shel hektish b'moed ma'al, v'yesh omrim lo ma'al." If a person eats hektish chametz on Pesach, he's liable for me'ilah, and some say he's not liable for me'ilah. Now let's think about this for a second. Me'ilah is when I take temple property and I use it for personal use. Now, if you hold that I'm liable for me'ilah, then it's self-evident. I did something. I used temple property. Why would I not be liable for me'ilah? So let's try and analyze this. The Gemara is going to ask, Man yesh omrim, what is the reason for this yesh omrim who says that there's no me'ilah? Amar Rabbi Yochanan, Rabbi Nechunya ben Akanehi. Rabbi Yochanan says it's a technical issue that goes like Rabbi Nechunya ben Hakana. The Amar, the Tanya, Rabbi Nechunya ben Hakana Hayao says Yom Kippurim kishabes l'tashlumin. That the Brisa says that Rabbi Nechunya ben Hakana equated Yom Kippur to Shabbos regarding financial liability. Ma Shabbos mischayev benafsho upoter min tashlumin, af Yom Kippur mischayev benafsho upoter min tashlumin. Now what this means is as follows. On Shabbos, if I violate Shabbos, and in the course of my violation of Shabbos, I damage someone's property. Let's say I throw a vase out the window, and I do an act of hotzah, but as I'm doing the act of hotzah, it crashes and it breaks. So, or create whatever, there are other scenarios that you could create. But concomitant with my Shabbos violation is my damaging of someone's property. So comes along, we know the halach is kimle b'derabba minei, that we only give a person the higher penalty and not the lesser penalty. So the guy is executed for violating Shabbos, but he's off the hook for tashlumin. It's one way to get out of paying, right? The only cost is that you get executed for it, right? So that's the halacha. But Rabbi Nechunya ben Hakan extended it even further, and he said, even when the violation is only kares and not execution by a beis din, we still say kimle b'derabba minei, and we exempt you from financial payment.
Just gets the kares.
You just get the kares, right? So therefore, Yom Kippur, for example, where there's only an isser kares, not a chiyuv misa for its violation. In the same vein, if you were to damage someone's property while violating Yom Kippur, you would not have to pay according to Rabbi Nechunya ben Hakana. Now, what does this have to do with our situation? Eating chametz on Pesach has what penalty? Kares. So if while I'm eating chametz, I'm damaging temple property, so I'm off the hook for me'ilah, which is a financial violation of the temple.
You can't get both.
Right, so I can't get both. So that's the reason why Rabbi Yochanan says you're off the hook for me'ilah when you eat chametz on Pesach that belongs to the Beis HaMikdash. But there's another opinion. Rav Yosef Omar, Bepodines HaKodshim Lahachilim L'Klovim Kamiflagi. Rav Yosef says, no. It's got nothing to do with Rabbi Nechunya ben Hakana's halach of Kimle B'derabba Minei Bayin Isser Kares. But rather it has to do with, are you allowed to be poda something that belongs to Hektish in order not to eat it yourself, but in order to feed it to your animals or feed it to someone who's not Jewish. That's really the issue. Now on Pesach, chametz cannot be eaten by a Jew. So the question now is, does it have financial value? Does chametz on Pesach have financial value? So on the one hand, you could argue, well, yes, it does, because I could still be poda it, and I could redeem it and then use it for personal use. But since I can't personally eat it, then do I have a right to even be poda it in the first place? If I can't eat the hektish chametz myself, then this is the machlokis. Do I have a right to be poda it in the first place? And if I'm not allowed to be poda it, to feed it to my animals or to someone who's not Jewish, then it basically boils down to having no financial value. And if it has no financial value because it's not redeemable, then I can't be held in violation of Kodshim property because I haven't damaged Kodshim financially, because it has no financial value at the time when I'm eating the chametz.
It has financial value, not for him.
Not for him, but for the Kodshim.
For the other one.
Yes, but if I'm not allowed to redeem it, if the hektish is non-redeemable for other people, for non-Jews or for animals, then it has no financial value presently. So therefore, Rav Yosef is of the opinion that's the machlokes. Man do amar moal kesaver podim es hakodshim lachilim leklavim, uman do amar lo moal kesaver ein podim. And this is the machlokes. Am I allowed to be poda something from hektish in order to feed it to my animals, as far as animal feed? And if so, then it has financial value now. And the way that the Gemara is going to explain Rav Yosef, it goes according to Rabbi Yossi Haglili, who says that you are allowed to benefit from chametz on Pesach as long as you're not eating it. So according to Rabbi Yossi Haglili, this chametz that I've just eaten has financial value to hektish, because hektish could sell it as animal feed, and I've deprived hektish of that opportunity, so I'm liable for me'ilah. And the Yesh Omrim says that no, that since you're not allowed to redeem, the hektish is non-redeemable for animal consumption, because we don't allow you to redeem hektish just to give it to animals. It has to be elevated. It has to be given to a Jew to eat. Therefore, it currently has no financial value, and therefore you're not liable for me'ilah.
There's no financial value to him, the person who's doing it.
There's no financial value to hektish either, because hektish can't do anything with it. Hektish can't sell it. Hektish can't make any money.
Yeah, but
what about after Pesach?
Right, that's what I'm saying. That's
1 second, okay. All right, that's another issue. I told you it gets a little complicated, but at least just follow along step by step. This is where we are at this point in the discussion. But at this presently, hektish can't sell it
On Pesach.
on Pesach, so therefore, according to the Yesh Amar, it has no financial value, and therefore you're not liable for me'ilah.
What's the argument, the first argument that says if I can't eat it, therefore I can't redeem it? Why? What's the logic there? Why?
If there's no heter to redeem hektish, to remove something's holiness, if the whole objective is to feed it to an animal. It's a blanket halacha. The halacha is we don't allow you to desanctify something to use it as animal feed. Right? That's the issue. Only for human consumption. Now, so Rav Acha bar Rava Tanala laha shmaita mishmei Rav Yosef baha lishn. Now comes along Rav Acha bar Yaakov and explains Rav Yosef slightly differently. Now, this is not the Rav Acha bar Yaakov that we want to get to ultimately, but this is Rav Acha bar Yaakov explaining Rav Yosef slightly differently from the way we just presented it. That no, really everyone holds that you're not allowed to be poda hektish if the only utility is to feed it to animals. But the machlokus is as follows: B'davar hagorim lamamon kimamon dami. The question is, if you are doing a causative act to deprive hektish of money, is that called an act of financial injury or not? Mando amar moal kesaver davar hagorim lamamon kimamon dami, umando amar lo moal kesaver davar hagorim lamamon lav kimamon dami. And the way that it works, is. Right. He says as follows. Right now, I can't redeem the chametz. But if I wait until after Pesach, then I can redeem the chametz, and the chametz will have financial value in 5 days from now, or whatever, in a few days from now. The chametz will have value. So right now, when I eat the chametz, I'm eating something that has zero financial value because it's non-redeemable. But in a few days from now, it will have financial value. That's called, I'm doing a causative act to deprive hektish of its money, because right now I'm not causing financial injury, but I'm doing something that will cause them financial injury in the future. That's the machlokus. Is that an act of me'ila or not? So that's the way that Rav
Future
Acha,
loss.
Future loss is the way Rav Acha says is the machlokus. Does causing future loss to hektish
Me'ila.
constitute an act of me'ila or not? The Tanakama says it does, and the Yesh Omrim says that it doesn't. Now,
Can you say this thing has intrinsic value? The only thing that prevents it is a technicality in the Isser of Hadam?
you might be able to make that argument, but that's not what the Gemara is maintaining at this point. The Gemara is maintaining that it has zero value right now because there's nothing you can do with it. You want to create a chiluk between intrinsic and extrinsic. That's not what the Gemara is getting into now. Rav Acha bar Yaakov Amar. So now we get to Rav Acha bar Yaakov himself. Previously he was explaining Rav Yosef. Now he's going to explain it to his own shita. Dekulei alma davar hagarim l'mamon k'mamon dami. I hold that the machlokis is that everyone holds that because you are causing future loss to hektish, then this is called causing a loss of finance to hektish. V'hacha beplug to the Rabbi Yehuda of Reb Shimon kamiflagi. But the machlokis is between Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Shimon. Man da Amar lo ma'al ke Rabbi Yehuda, man da Amar ma'al ke Reb Shimon. That if you hold that you're doing an act of mi'ila, you hold like Reb Shimon. Why? Because Reb Shimon says that chametz sha'avar alav ha'pesach, that belongs to hektish. If it belongs to hektish, it's perfectly okay. There's no knas. There's no nothing, right? We don't penalize you if there was no prohibition of bal yera'eh because it was in the possession of the Beis Hamikdash. Then it's perfectly fine after Pesach, just like a non-Jew's chametz. But Rabbi Yehuda holds that chametz sha'avar lav haPesach, regardless of who owned it, there is a prohibition of consuming it after Pesach.
Doesn't have a future value then.
And therefore it doesn't have a future value.
So Rabbi Yehuda
And
holds.
that's why, wait a minute, so that's why the Tanakama says, that's why the Yesh Omrim say that there's no Me'ila. Because even if we consider the future value, according to Rabbi Yehuda, there is no future value because all Chametz Shabbal Pesach, regardless whether it's owned by a Jew, a non-Jew, or Hektish, is Usr after Pesach completely. Now wait a minute. Didn't we just establish that according to Rav Acha bar Yaakov, Rabbi Yehuda limits the prohibition of chametz shavalav haPesach to the prohibition of bal yera'eh, which only applies to a Jew's chametz, but not to the chametz of a non-Jew and not to the chametz of the Beis Hamikdash? So what do you see from here, from this analysis? Ela hadar be Rav Acha bar Yaakov mehahi. This proves to us that Rav Acha bar Yaakov actually recanted his position, and his final assessment is that even according to Rabbi Yehuda, there is no distinction between a Jew's chametz or a non-Jew's chametz. Chametz shavalav haPesach is always aser.
How do we know what she said first and what she said second?
That's a good question. How do we know? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question. I do believe that sometimes the Balei HaTosfos ask this question, but I don't know. So it's a valid question, and I don't know.
Question?
The question is, how do we know that one was stated earlier and one was stated later?
If we held like Rabbi Yehuda, that would be like impossible. We'd have to start from scratch every Motzei Pesach.
Correct.
Yeah, but some
We
people
couldn't
do
even
that.
get things from Goyim. Couldn't get anything.
That's right.
From
That's
going
right.
We have to literally
Well,
go
we
to
couldn't sell to
So,
Goyim.
right. So
Then we
the-
couldn't sell to Goyim.
Oh, exactly.
That's right.
No, so you
That's
have to
right.
go to the factory the next morning and
That's
start
right.
making
You have to start making bread all over again.
bread, everything. I
Okay.
mean, cereal, everything.
You have to dispose of everything you have. You couldn't
Okay.
sell it.
Right. So thank God we don't paskin like Rabbi Yehuda.
Yeah.
And you're going to see the Gemara saying Baruch Hashem we don't paskin like Rabbi Yehuda because you'll see an instance where the Gemara says you'll see. Okay, so we have to go weiter. Rav Ashi Omar. So we're going to get back to this discussion about Rabbi Yehuda and Reb Shimon in a minute, but let's just finish our discussion of Me'ila. Okay, so Rav Ashi offers another opinion as to the machlokas between the first Manda Omar who says that there is Me'ila and the second Manda Omar says there is no Me'ila. He says the Kulei Alma Ein Podin. He holds that everyone holds that you're not allowed to be poda hektish in order to feed it to your animals. The davar hagorin lomamon lav kimamadam, and everyone agrees that something that will cause a future loss to hektish, but which presently has zero value, is not called me'ilah. So then why does the Tanakama say there is me'ilah? V'hacha beplukta de Rabbi Yossi haglili v'rabbanan kamiflagi. Manda omar ma'al ki Rabbi Yossi, manda omar lo ma'al ki rabbanan. The answer is that the machlokas is in the sheet of Rabbi Yossi haglili. If you hold like Rabbi Yossi haglili, then this hektish currently has financial value because you're allowed to benefit from it personally. According to Rabbi Yossi Haglili, you can take this chametz that belongs to hektish, you can redeem it, and you can use it as fuel for your stove to cook matzah balls.
Wow.
Right?
On Pesach.
On Pesach. You can take chametz as fuel for your oven. You can take pieces of bread that belonged to hektish and use it to light your oven and cook your matzah balls with. And that's why there's me'ilah, because it has financial value to a human being, to a Jew. But if you hold like the Chachamim who argue, both Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Shimon argue with Rabbi Yossi Haglili, and they say no, that on Pesach itself chametz is aser b'hana. That's why it has zero value. It's non-redeemable for any other use except for human use, and for human use there is no human use possible, and therefore there's no me'ilah at all. Yes, Alan.
But as soon as you bought it from Hekdesh, it becomes yours, and then you're owning chametz on Pesach.
You can buy, you redeemed it.
Right, so hektish won't allow you to be poda. Hektish won't allow you to be poda.
How could you even use it for fuel? Like as soon as you bought it.
No. You're saying according to Rabbi Yossi Haglili.
Yeah.
According to Rabbi Yossi Haglili, you are allowed to be poda hektish,
But then you would be owning.
Right. So the question is, what does Rabbi Yossi Haglili do with the isser of bal yirah, bal yimatzeh? Yes. I don't have an answer for that. I don't know. We haven't analyzed Rabbi Yossi Haglili's shita yet, as far as what he does with the isser of bal yirah, bal yimatzeh. It sounds like he doesn't even hold of that isser at all. I agree.
Because you're bringing it home.
What?
Even if you owned it at the beginning of Pesach.
Even if you owned it, it sounds like from Rabbi Yossi Haglili that bichlal there's no isser, and I don't know if the Gemara is going to undertake this discussion, but we did see Rabbi Yossi Haglili's shita. He says dafilu b'soch hamoed kamer demuter bahana.
Yes, you're allowed to own it. You're not allowed to see it. It looks like you're not allowed to eat it. It's only consumption.
You're just not allowed to eat it, but you're allowed to be in possession of it. The question is, what does he do with the isser of bal yirah, bal yimatzeh? I don't know. We haven't analyzed Rabbi Yossi Haglili yet.
It's only if the dog understands a little, he goes himself and he eats it. Without
a dog who goes, it could be that you are being nena, but it's a shogeg. Yeah. Okay, let's go weiter. Amar Rav, chametz bizmano, bein b'mino, bein shelo b'mino aser, shelo bizmano, b'mino aser, shelo b'mino mutter. So let's just unpack this very carefully. Rav is talking about a halacha about chametz, whether it's in its time or whether it's not in its time. So clearly he seems to be holding of some kind of isser of chametz she'avar lav haPesach, and he makes the following distinction. You have chametz that falls into a taroves, into a mixture of other food that is non-chametz. So you have chametz that falls into a stew, or you have chametz that falls into other dough that is not currently chametz.
Before?
On Pesach itself or after Pesach. So we're going to address both cases. So if it's bizmano, if it's on Pesach, so then bein b'mino, bein shelo b'mino aser. Then it makes no difference whether the larger component, which is the permissible food, is mino, if it's the same kind, or whether it's eno mino, or if it's a different kind. Now, this concept of mino and eno mino is thoroughly, exhaustively discussed in Chulin when we talk about the concept of bittul, of nullification of food. If I have a piece of treif meat that falls into a stew of kosher meat, then I have bittul, but only if I hold, but that's called a bittul of min b'mino. Meat in meat is like kind in like kind. But if I have a drop of milk that falls into a stew, that's min b'she'eno mino. It's kind in unlike kind, meaning that it's two different kinds of food, and the laws of min b'mino versus min b'she'eno mino are quite different and the subject of a machlokes. when like substances where one is permissible and one is forbidden mix with each other, there's one set of halacha, and when unlike substances mix with each other, min b'she'eno mino, there's another set of halacha.
Which one's more machmir?
You'll see in just a moment. So Rav says,
Straight man.
I'll show you my. I'm glad we practiced this. Okay, so Rav says that chametz bismano, that if you have chametz on Pesach, then it doesn't make a difference whether it's mino or whether it's eno mino, right? If the chametz falls into other bread, or if the chametz falls into vegetables or meat, it doesn't make a difference. Aser. It's always going to be aser. And shalo bismano, but if it falls in after Pesach, bimino aser, shalo bimino mutter. So then if it's like kind, so then it's going to be aser. If it's unlike kind, then it's going to be mutter. So now the Gemara says, "B'may askin." Let's analyze this. What are we talking about? Ilema b'no sein tam. If you're going to tell me that there's enough of the forbidden substance proportionally to the permitted substance, such that the flavor of the forbidden substance is detectable in the permitted substance, and usually that's defined as 1 in 60. If there's more than 1/60th of the forbidden substance in the permitted substance, that's called no sein tam, then it's called enough to give off flavor, or detectable flavor. Then shalo bismano, shalo b'mino mutter. So then how can you tell me that after Pesach, min b'she'eno mino is mutter? It's not bottle, hayahiv taima. It's giving off flavor. So if you hold that chametz shavar lav haPesach is aser, so how can that chametz now be mutter just because it's in a mixture? The flavor is detectable, so that there's no svara to say that. Ela b'mashahu. So rather, we're talking about whether when it's a very minuscule amount of chametz that falls into a very large mixture of permitted substance. Chametz bismano el b'mashu chametz, right? So bismano bein b'mino bein shelo b'mino aser. So on Pesach itself, we will say that it doesn't make a difference whether it's mino or whether it's eno mino. The mixture is always going to be aser. Rav l'taime, and Rav goes according to his reasoning. Derav u'shmol darmi Ravayu kol isurin shebetorah b'mino b'mashu shalom b'mino b'no sein tam. That there's an important shita that Rashi says we paskin like, Tosfos says we don't paskin like, and that is that min b'mino eno batal. That no matter how small the substance of iser is, proportionally to the larger permitted food, it's never batal if it's min b'mino, if it's two same kinds. So if you have a tiny piece of treifa meat that falls into a larger pot of kosher meat, the whole thing is going to be aser according to Rav. And it's only when you have eno mino, when it's a piece of meat that falls into vegetables, let's say, that we say that it's batal b'no sein tam, as long as there's 1/60th to nullify the flavor of the meat. But that's only for other prohibitions. When we talk about chametz on Pesach, Rav Gazer chametz bismano shelo bismano atumino, that Rav says, look, the prohibition of chametz is so severe because it carries with it an iser kares. So even though normally min b'she'eno mino will be batal b'shishim, but over here we're not going to allow it to be batal b'shishim, to be nullified in 60. We're going to here say that because it's so severe, we're going to decree rabbinically that even min b'she'eno mino is not batal, atu, because of the case of min b'mino not being batal. Okay? V'shalo bismano b'mino aser, and after Pesach, if it's min b'mino, it's going to be aser, ke Rabbi Yehuda, like Rabbi Yehuda who says that chametz shavar lav haPesach is aser. V'shalo b'mino mutar, and if it's min b'she'eno mino, it's going to be okay. Why? The shalo bismano v'shalo b'mino atumino kulei hailo gazrina. Because to say that if it's after Pesach and it's min b'she'eno mino, you want to make that gezerah atu, atu mino, to say because that far of a rabbinic decree we're not going to make. It's one thing when you have an iser kares involved, so then we're going to be machmir and say that min b'she'eno mino is not batal, just like min b'mino is not batal. But once Pesach is over, where there's no longer an iser kares, there's only a mitzvah lo saseh, according to Rabbi Yehuda, then there's no reason for us to be so machmir on min b'she'eno mino atu min b'mino. Okay, that's Rav Shita, and therefore Rav is of the opinion that when you have a mixture of chametz and forbidden and permitted substance, so then it doesn't matter whether it's min b'mino, min b'she'eno mino, it's never batal. But if the substance gets mixed in after Pesach with chametz shavar lava Pesach, so then min b'mino is never batal because that's the general rule. But min b'she'eno mino will be batal as long as there's no Saint Tom, as long as there's no flavor detectable of the chametz. Now Shmuel Amar chametz bismano b'mino aser shelo b'mino mutter. Shmuel disagrees, and he says that on Pesach itself, min b'mino is aser, and min b'she'eno mino is mutter. And shelo bismano, but once Pesach is over, bein b'mino, bein shelo b'mino mutter. Then, as long as the chametz is in a mixture, it's going to be batal, whether it's min b'mino or whether it's min b'she'eno mino. Now, why is that? We'll see in just a second. So chametz bismano b'mino aser. So to say that chametz on Pesach min b'mino is going to be aser even with a mashu, Shmuel l'taimei, the Rav Shmuel, the Rabbi kol yisrin shebetar b'mino aser and b'mashu, shalom b'mino b'no saint tam. So that Shmuel agrees with Rav that if you have a min b'mino mixture, so then it's aser even with a mashu. And it's only min b'she'eno mino that is batal when you have shishim or when the flavor is no longer detectable. But shelo b'minon atumino lo gazer. And the reason why Shmuel is more liberal with min b'she'eno mino is that he happens to disagree with Rav. You, Rav, hold that you have to be machmir because of the stringency of chametz to say that min b'she'eno mino is also not batal on Pesach. And I disagree, says Shmuel. I don't hold of that rabbinic decree. Now, shelo bismano ben b'minon ben shelo b'minon mutarin karebi Shimon. Now, why do I hold, says Shmuel, that after Pesach, if this mixture is created, it doesn't make a difference whether it's min b'mino or min b'she'eno mino? Why do I hold that it's permitted? Because I hold like Reb Shimon, and Reb Shimon says that there's no din of chametz she'avar lav ha'Pesach. You're going to ask me, but there's still a kinas, there's still a rabbinic prohibition, even according to Reb Shimon. We'll get to that in just a moment. Now we have the third opinion. So we've seen Rav, we've seen Shmuel. Now let's look at the opinion of Rabbi Yochanan. The Rabbi Yochanan Amar chametz bismano bein b'mino bein shelo b'mino aser b'no sein tam. So he holds as follows: that chametz on Pesach, it doesn't make a difference whether it's min b'mino or min b'she'eno mino. If you have detectable flavor in the chametz, which means you have a larger proportion of 1 in 60 of chametz in this mixture, so then it's going to be aser. But if you have less than 1 in 60, meaning that the flavor is no longer detectable, then according to Rabbi Yochanan, it makes no difference whether it's min b'mino or min b'she'eno mino, it's going to be permitted, it's going to be batal. Now, shelo bismano, but once Pesach is over, bein b'minon, bein shelo b'minon mutter. And he will hold like Shmuel had said, that once Pesach is over, then it's completely permitted no matter what proportion of mixture you have. It's always going to be mutter. Now, chametz bismano, bein b'mino, bein shelo b'mino, b'no sein tam, Rabbi Yochanan l'taimei. So why does Rabbi Yochanan say that on Pesach itself, that the prerequisite or the criterion for bittul is no sein tam, that the flavor has to be detectable, and if it's not detectable, it's batal, and if the flavor is detectable, it's aser. Why? Because the Rabbi Yochanan goes according to his own reasoning. The Rabbi Yochanan v'Reish Lakish, Damri Turavayu, they both say, Kol isurin shebetorah bein b'minon bein shelo b'minon b'no sein tam. They both say that regardless of whether it's min b'mino or min b'she'eno mino, they disagree with Rav and Shmuel, and they say that no, min b'mino, min b'she'eno mino, there's no difference. If you have 60 to make it batal, it's batal. And shelo bismano, ben b'mino, shelo b'mino, mutar karib Shimon. And Rabbi Yochanan says, like Shmuel had said, that after Pesach, there's no isser of chametz shavalav ha-Pesach, and therefore, as long as you have a mixture, it doesn't matter how much of a mixture you have, it's always going to be batal, it's always going to be permitted. Now, let's just finish this off. This will go very, very quickly now. By the way, Tosfos says that we paskin like Rabbi Yochanan, that whether it's min b'mino or min b'she'eno mino, it's batal b'shishin. Rashi disagrees and says that we paskin like Rav and Shmuel. This is again one of those instances where fortunately we paskin like Tosfos for the most part in the Rishonim, and that seems to be where the Shulchan Aruch comes out, that min b'mino is batal b'shishin, just like min b'she'eno mino.
So when they add something to it on Pesach, it's chametz It's a favor. How can they have that chometz to put into it in the first place?
How can you what?
How can he own that chometz that he's putting into it?
It fell in. It fell in. I don't know how it fell in.
Purposely.
A goy threw it in. I don't know how it got in.
Okay.
It just got in.
He didn't put rubber bands on his cover.
Because
it fell
the
in.
house should not be chometz.
Of course not. This is not something that would happen in your house, Mr. Gura, but it could happen. Amar Rava. So Rava now says, Hilchisa chametz bizmano bein b'mino bein shelo b'mino aser b'mashu hu kirav. So Rava says, I'm going to be I'm the arbiter of the halacha, and he says that the final halacha is that chametz bizmano, on Pesach itself, when chametz falls into a mixture, bein b'mino, bein shelo b'mino, aser b'mashu hu karav, then it doesn't matter how small, how infinitesimally small the chametz is, it prohibits the entire mixture, whether it's min b'mino or min b'she'eno mino.
And there's no bot.
And there's no bittul at all, and it's like Rav had said, that even though normally min b'she'eno mino is bottle, but we're going to be gozer because of the chumrah of chametz on Pesach, right? We're going to say that even min b'she'eno mino is not bottom. But shelo bizmano, bein b'mino, bein shelo b'mino, mutter kerebi Shimon. But after Pesach, if this mixture forms, so then the chametz will be bottle, whether it's min b'mino or whether it's min b'she'eno mino.
And it's also, is it tanur also?
Yeah. And then, but he says, right. But after Pesach, he says, then it's going to be completely bottle. Why? Because like Reb Shimon says, that chametz shavalav Pesach is mutter. So now the Gemara asks the obvious question: Miyamar Rava Hachi? How could Rava say this? V'hamar Rava Rabbi Shimon kanasa kanis hol va'avralav b'val yiro bal yimatzei. But Rava says that Reb Shimon says that chametz shavalav Pesach, even though midioraisa it's permitted, but midorabanan it's still aser. So how could he tell you that if I have a mixture of min b'mino, then it's going to be okay of chametz shavalav haPesach? What about the knas? So hani mili be'ene. So the Gemara answer is that no. The only time that there's this rabbinic knas of chametz shavalav haPesach is when the chametz is by itself, not part of a mixture. However, aval al yedei taroves lo. But if it's part of a mixture, then there's not even a knas. Then we're mekel and we allow you to consume the mixture of chametz with permitted substance, because that far we're not going to go. Okay, so that's the
it's like a gzera and a gzera.
It's like a gzera and a gzera, or it's a more extreme gzera, which we're not going to make. Now, va'azda Rava l'taime. Now Rava, who paskins like Reb Shimon, like you had said before, thank God we paskin like Reb Shimon, Rava is consistent. Why? Because like you said, Shlomi, if we would have to go like Rebbe Yehuda, it would turn out that every Motzoi Pesach we'd have to start all over again from scratch, and that's not the case. The Amar Rava ki havinam be Rav Nachman, as Rava said, that when I was by Rav Nachman ki havu nafki shiva yomi de pischa, once Pesach, the 7 days of Pesach were over, Amar Lani used to say to us, Puku uzvunu chamira de b'nei chela. He told us, go out and buy bread of the non-Jews. The very fact that you can buy bread from non-Jews, according to Rebbe Yehuda, like we came out in the final analysis, according to Rebbe Yehuda, chametz that was owned by Jews and non-Jews alike is aser after Pesach. So the fact that Rava said that as a Talmud of Rav Nachman I was permitted to buy bread from a non-Jewish baker right after Pesach means that we paskin like Reb Shimon. So there's a pasakum issue. So fine, but it's still kosher. Pasakum, pas palter is mutter. As long as it's made by a professional baker that's non-Jewish, you're allowed to partake of that bread.